Jensen, you're just in time for a great pitching matchup. We know Shohei Ohtani for the Angels and what he can do. I think all the Cleveland pitchers, nobody looks at this like drawing the short straw. They were all fighting for the chance to go out there and match up against Shohei.
And I think Zach Plesac's been that lucky guy because it's been the Carlos Rodons, it's been the Dallas Keuchels. Now you get one of the best guys in the American League, the defending most valuable player, but Plesac has acquitted himself quite well. You see the second best ERA in the American League, second only to Logan Gilbert, who is off to an amazing start, but it seems he rises to the occasion, and I'll have to do that again tonight. Shohei Ohtani coming off an extremely dominant start the last time he's out. 26 strikeouts, now fourth in the American League, and only 14 in the third innings pitched. But, Manny, we talked about it before we came on tonight. How long can Shohei Ohtani go? The strikeouts are high. That means the pitch count's going to be up there as well.
He's been outstanding, and obviously on this road trip, he's basically been the entirety of their offense. Against Shohei Ohtani, 2-run home run in the first inning. Guardians were not able to hold up with that as far as continuing the offensive onslaught, but then he was able to really capitalize in a couple of other situations. You see the numbers. Tied for second in the American League with 6 bombs, 25 RBIs, and the offensive stalwarts has been the top of the lineup most of this season, led by Jose Ramirez, Owen Miller, Stephen Kwan still on the mend. But tonight you'll see a top of the lineup with Miles Straw, Owen Miller in that 2 spot, and of course Jose Ramirez in his customary 3rd slot.
It's only the 3rd batter, Matty, but I think the dugout, if they're keen on this, of course, you're registering the slider, not in the zone, really consistently. That's the first splitter we've really seen. You can almost, if you're Jose, cut off a part of the plate, be dead red for a heater here. Even though he's behind in the count, he can avoid the chase here on a slider or a split. He's in good shape.
Jose hammers one high and deep to right center field. That baby is going, and gone.
Talked about mistakes. If you left a pitch middle, elevated in the zone, even behind in the count, he's one of the best hitters, Matty, at hitting with 2 strikes. You just can't assume that he is going to go after a pitch, and like we just talked about, he could sit dead red with a heater, but if anything's hanging up, he will absolutely crush it. 2-0, exactly what the Guardians offense needed. Deep sigh of relief in that dugout.
A 30-pitch inning now, and if you're Andres Jimenez, again, it's 1 pitch, 1 spot, lay off the split finger. He hangs a breaking ball, just unload on that sucker.
Here's the 2-0 pitch to Jimenez. Didn't want to. Swung at ball 3.
Not a good approach. 2-0, that's not a pitch you can do anything with. You got to leave this one go. That's ball 3 easy, and then you're really in a driver's seat.
From Montas. Swinging a drive to right. Going back at the wall. It's gone. A grand slam for Andres Jimenez.
What a swing. Totally redeemed himself after just a real poor approach on the 2-0 pitch. Man alive, that's got to feel good. High fastball again now, but this time he doesn't miss it. He was ready for it. And this is the 4th grand slam already for the Guardians. Bang! What a shot. That ball kept going. That's a great job by Andres Jimenez picking up Mike Sarbaugh at 3rd base. He knew it was hit well. He had to make sure the center fielder did not get it. First of all, the swing, Maley goes up and gets it. That's up out, but he's got to catch up. He does. And then Jimenez does a smart job of making sure the center fielder can't get there, and then he turns on the Jets, and Mike Sarbaugh, one of the more aggressive 3rd base coaches in the game, is going to send him the full way. Full send, excellent execution all the way around. 1-0 good guys.
There's yesterday's hero, Richie Palacios, who had that pinch hit 2 RBI double in the 9th inning. And how about the great base running of Jimenez?
Yeah, look at Sarby, never a doubt, no hesitation. And you got to give that to your base runner early because sometimes guys can pull up a little bit, Al, and that step or 2 could be the difference between being safe or thrown out at home.
Tristan McKenzie today looking pretty good against the Oakland A's. 6 strikeouts for McKenzie, and currently 8 in a row have been set down by Tristan.
Al, just like some beers, crisp, clean, and efficient. That is what Tristan McKenzie has been today. Arguably his best start to date. If he gets through the 6, it will be his longest one. As you mentioned earlier, the one number that stands out, Tommy Bowe with this gem right here. After a 1-0 count, Oakland is hitless in 10 opportunities today.
Scenario Cleveland wanted, play today for the win.
No, it's not a repeat of yesterday, but it might look like it considering the pitching matchups, and I think it was something we talked about before the series. We know the pitching is going to be great. These are not two teams that are going to hit a home run ball, but oh, wait a minute. That's how all the runs scored yesterday.
Yeah, that's
A game that Cleveland never was really able to get into.
First inning, knockout punch, right? And that was the one thing you had. It was Savali on the mound. You needed him to kind of find a way to navigate through, be able to put up a 0, heck, maybe even a couple of zeros to keep this offense within striking distance. Couple of walks. That's what 12 days off will do to you. Never really had command of his stuff tonight.
Almost half as many hits as Cleveland did. But the long ball, that was the key. They hit 3 times as many homers, and that ultimately was the difference.
You see the last couple of postseasons, it's been the team that out-homers their opponent. They've had the most success. Not a shock, right? This is how the Yankees are built. Now, does that mean they're able to advance into the World Series? Highly likely they're not able to overcome Houston, who is the most complete team in the American League. But as far as this series go, you understand now where Cleveland's offensive blueprint is. They know how to play. They know their brand of baseball. Now you got to get another power bat or two to be able to hang with these kinds of offenses in October. It's a remarkable group, and the DNA of this team is built with a lot of youth on it. We know that. But you have some veterans in here that without their leadership, both on and off the field, they don't get to this division title. And I'll tell you what, it all began at the end of spring training. You remember the rumors about is Jose Ramirez going to be on this team? Will he even be here by opening day? That's the first domino that had to fall. You had to get the face of your franchise here to be the building block for years to come. Jose Ramirez started a domino effect, Al, and after that, he, Ahmed Rosario, Josh Naylor, Shane Bieber, those veterans that have been here before, they led by example, and those young guys followed suit, and this is why you're going to see a champagne bath here.
Let's go isolation on him. Let's take a look at his windup, Jensen. Here's a guy who does a lot of things mechanically correct.
Everything is very simple. He's very quiet with the footwork, gets himself into a good position. Here's your big load right here. Okay, so you got a little bit above 90 with the leg, and then watch everything turn, burn, and the torque that he gets. Everything is on great leverage down plane, and he has a great finish. Everything linear, a straight line to the plate. All the energy is going forward. So what does that translate to, Al? It's going to translate into one of the best riding fastballs you're going to find. Look at that maintained plane. That's just a vapor trail behind there. Absolute gas face against Jake Bowers. Then this is
changeup.
This is great.
Yeah.
Okay, for you young kids at home, the key to this pitch, as I talk about all the time, maintain fastball arm speed. You get one of the best in the game, Jose Ramirez, way out in front of that. That's all arm speed and arm action. Then the knuckle curve, really a great pitch for him tonight. We talked about him relying on the breaking ball very early tonight. Gets Eddie Rosario frozen, just punching tickets, and then the slider. This is really a huge weapon. You see the quarter spin behind. That's a dime spin out in front. No chance for Josh Naylor just swinging over the top of it. That's 4+ pitches right there. That's why Garrett Cole's one of the best in the business.
And you can see how the swing and miss is really personified by that split of almost 6 feet and about 15 mile an hour on the differential. Well, how does he generate those kind of swing and misses, or the confusion for hitters to try and diagnose whether it's a fastball or a changeup? He's got a unique changeup grip in that it's more of a circle split changeup. And you can kind of see this at home right now. The 2 fingers are split out of the 2-seam, but he still has that circle on the side. When he's able to repeat his delivery the way he does very successfully, as I come to you in the living room here, through the delivery, he has a natural pronation out front where he's able to get side-to-side spin. So as he follows through, he naturally turns over.
Welcome into the set, everybody. Jensen Lewis here with you. Al Pawlowski has the day off today. Well, it's just been a tough weekend, to say the least, and after a rainout on Friday night, a doubleheader sweep yesterday, not exactly where the Guardians wanted to be in the win-loss column, but Tristan McKenzie will get the start today, and he'll oppose a little bit more of a watered-down New York lineup this afternoon. But first, let's get you to the top of the order, give you an idea of what's coming up today for the game. Tristan McKenzie, indeed, on the hill, a 1.05 whip. That is good for 7th in the American League. He'll be opposing Jordan Montgomery for the Yankees today, who is just ahead of him in that category at 1.02. So a lot of good stuff today from both starting pitchers. They'll try and keep the ball in the ballpark, and that's what they couldn't do yesterday. Speaking of the Guardians pitching staff, the Yankees leading the world in home runs, 133 on the season. They collected 6 yesterday, including 2 by Matt Carpenter. Anthony Rizzo, a game-tying blast off of Aaron Civale, Giancarlo Stanton, back-to-back for the 10th time for the Yankees. That proved to be the game winner in Game 2. The offense has been, well, shut down as of late. Guardians now 3 runs or fewer in 8 of their last 11 games. They're minus 26 in the run differential in the season series against the Yankees. Nestor Cortez surrendered a solo homer to Ahmed Rosario in the bottom of the first inning yesterday, and then shut down the Guardians offense along with the Yankee pen.
All right, so we'll bring the strike zone back in, and we'll kind of illustrate what we believe the plan of attack will be for Tristan McKenzie. You mentioned a high fastball. He's given up just a little bit over a 200 average, and it helps sets up the curveball. We talk a lot about north and south, being able to create that real estate. And as you said, if that curveball is on, it's going to be disappearing below the strike zone. That means Tristan will be on today. It's great because he won't win the Cy Young this year, but obviously you want him trending in this direction, knowing that October is on deck. And for him, he's looking like that 2020 form where he did unanimously win that Cy Young Award in the American League. I think if you look at this race, just as it stands, Verlander probably wins it. Cease probably finishes second. Interesting to see where the voters put 3 because a strong closing argument, as you talked about, from Beeps.
Well, speaking of that, we've talked about his last 10 games, and he's been so effective. So let's take a look here. StatCast 3D and his strikeouts in his last 10 games. Really, it's all the pitches, but especially that secondary stuff.
Yeah, it really has. The cut fastball, really have enjoyed seeing how he deploys that, whether it be Austin Hedges or Luke Maile behind the plate catching him. And then no surprise, those breaking balls making up the majority of his strikeout totals. The thing with the White Sox, okay, this lineup in the second half of the season has been a lot better. Last 2 weeks, it's been really good.
Oh.
Last 2 days, wow, they have really come out of their approach. And I find it to be a fascinating matchup tonight. You've buried them the first 2 nights. What will they look like tonight? Is this spring training like, hey, we just want to get through this, we're kind of done? If he does that, Bieber's going to have double digits.
Especially last night. Incredible streak of consistency.
To me, it's obviously putting the bat on the ball. We saw a lot of swing and miss when he was in a slump out, but now his last 74 plate appearances, only 4 strikeouts. He is really giving himself a chance for extra bases. You see that in rain-soaked Progressive Field in the previous homestand. How about against the White Sox in the first series of the second half of the season? Going with the pitches out over the big part of the plate. He's going with where they're being pitched. How about a hanging breaking ball yesterday from Nathan Eovaldi? He takes that one and goes right up the gap there in left center field. So when he's had an opportunity to take advantage of mistakes, here last night, the game-tying RBI double, he has not missed.
He certainly hasn't. He's been able to drive that ball, too. That's what's been impressive. So even though he's not going to hit a ton of home runs, he's going to drive in runs. Then in the field, Jensen, has he ever been in a slump in center field?
Well, since he's been over here in Cleveland, I'm not sure that he has, and that's a good thing if you're a Cleveland pitcher. Here on the road trip, a couple of great examples of his defensive prowess. This one coming in the right center gap. What you love about Miles Straw is the anticipation is there, the ability to react. Even if the ball is hit right at him, it feels like he is never perplexed as to which direction to go. This is critical because, as we've documented so far in this series, Fenway Park, the juxtaposition of the outfield fence, it's a little quirky at times, but it feels like Miles Straw has been able to navigate it quite safely. Great in his career against Cleveland, especially this season. Where would the White Sox be without him? I mean, he was sensational for them coming up from the minor leagues. Now for him, lefties have crushed him when he has been up in the zone. That's the key to watch for early tonight. So Kwan, Ramirez from the left side, Naylor, Jimenez. And hey, how about the new left-hander?
The rookie.
Yeah.
Guardians lineup brought to you by your Northern Ohio GMC dealers. From Tristan McKenzie tonight, you got length, kept you in the game, and then ultimately you got to win and save that bullpen.
Yeah, let's underline that out. Kept him in the game because this thing could have gone sideways after he hung that slider and Jake Cave deposited it out in right center field. But great job by Tristan McKenzie. Remember, only 89 pitches here too. Yeah. So again, not a real hard workload as far as having to expend a lot of energy, but also this is a team in Minnesota that has given him a lot of trouble throughout this season. So a credit to the player for being able to get out of just one mistake, and then also having the team stay right there. Because the way Bailey Ober was going tonight, if he had a full complement of a pitch count, this one might not have gone Cleveland's way.